Alright, so we're here ready to talk about the urogenital system. We're going to start with my favorite, the urinary system. So let's start with the kidney. Come on in. And start with our kidney. This whole thing right here is like kidney bean shape. Get that? Is our kidney. And then up here, sitting on top of our kidney, is our adrenal gland. Mike, what does the adrenal gland do?
The purpose of the adrenal gland is it produces hormones that help the body control blood sugar, burn protein and fat, and react to stressors like major illnesses or injuries, and regulates blood pressure. Two of the most important hormones are cortisol and aldosterone.
Oh yeah, Mike. All right, you got it. So here we go again. We have right here is our renal capsule. It surrounds the kidney. But in between the renal capsule and the renal fascia sits this fatty deposit, which is our adipose capsule. And it sits in between our renal capsule and our renal fascia. All right, so then once we move in from our renal capsule, we have our renal cortex, which is this outer layer. And then starting at these like pyramid-looking structures, which we'll get to into a second, this is our renal medulla. Inside of our renal medulla sits our renal pyramids. Now look at these. Don't they look pyramid-shaped? They do. So that's how you can remember renal pyramids. At the very bottom of our renal pyramid, right here, is our renal papilla. Now a fun fact about our renal papilla is that our renal papilla is shaped like a nipple. And nipple means papilla. That's how you can remember that. So our renal papilla, down here at the bottom, it's a constant drip. It's going to drip the liquid that we have filtered out of our blood into one of our minor calyx. So our renal papilla will drip into our minor calyx, which will then come together into our major calyx. So when two minor calyx, like these two right here, come together, we have a major calyx. All right, so in between our renal pyramids, we have this structure, and doesn't it look like a column? In between our renal pyramids, we have this structure, and it looks kind of like a column. And those are called our renal columns. Now, if we go ahead and continue to move, so we said we have our major calyx. If we continue to go through our major calyx, we get to our ureter. Our ureter will lead us to our bladder. It's important to remember that you have two kidneys, one on the left and one on the right, so you also have two ureters leading to your bladder.
This is your renal artery, and this is your renal vein. This is your ureter, and this whole section makes your hilum. Your renal vein will take blood back out to the inferior vena cava. Your renal artery will bring blood back in from the abdominal aorta. We also have right here is your renal pelvis, and that is connected to your minor and major calyx.
All right, we're gonna zoom into our kidney now and talk about the nephrons. So just to orient yourself, once again, we have our renal pyramid, and this is our renal papilla. So up here, this little like yellow structure is called our Bowman's capsule. Now inside our Bowman's capsule, you see a webbing or like a net of capillaries, which are all together called your glomerulus. Okay, and your glomerulus is where like the blood is going to go ahead and filter through. So from right here, which is one of our Bowman capsule and glomerulus, we have our proximal convoluted tubule, which directly comes off of the Bowman's capsule, so it's proximal to the Bowman's capsule, so that would be your proximal convoluted tubule. As we go ahead down, we can see our descending loop of Henle, and then as we go ahead and we curve around is our ascending loop of Henle. And then once we get up here, once again we have another convoluted tubule, but because this one's distant or distal, this is our distal convoluted tubule, which then will go ahead and drain into your collecting duct, and all the collecting ducts will merge down here at our renal papilla, which will then be how we drip into our minor calyx. The glomerulus and the Bowman's capsule together is called our renal capillus, and then if we go ahead over here again, this one right here that really goes pretty deep into our renal pyramid, those are considered our juxtamedular nephrons. And the ones that go a little bit more superficial, not quite as deep, those ones are considered our cortical nephrons. That wraps up our urinary system video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a lot. Till next time, my doggies.